This is your 20-minute podcast where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, here's your host, David Brower.
Special guest today is Dr. D. Anthony Miles. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, David. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Where are you located?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas, the other city outside of Dallas and Houston.
Are you on the Riverwalk?
Yeah, we got the Riverwalk at Alamo. We're kind of boring. We're not as sophisticated as Dallas and Houston.
We have a good friend that lives in San Antonio, so I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Dr. Miles has a great education and background. He has a PhD and MBA. He has in entrepreneurship and general business. He has an MBA in international business and a BBA in marketing. He's an award-winning researcher, award-winning professor, statistician, legal expert witness. That would be interesting. And best-selling author. And Dr. Miles is nationally known as a startup and marketing expert. So how did you get started in all this? I was looking at some of the research on you, and I thought, well, he's got 12 years in marketing and strategy. He's got 10 years in banking and finance. He's got 13 years in retail merchandising management, 10 years in consulting, and 11 years in research and statistics. So you got to be 56, but your picture only looks 42.
Oh, you're close. I'm 53.
I'm glad I erred on the side of younger.
Yeah, if you look at dog years, I'm probably 56.
I totally understand.
My story is rather interesting. The reason that I have such a mosaic of an extensive background is I got my PhD later in life. And I had a guy when I was first getting into my career, and I immediately wanted to get my MBA right after that. And the guy said, "Hey, young buck, why don't you go get some experience and then go back and get the graduate degree?" So I took his advice. I got my experience in the retail industry. I spent 13 to 15 years in retail, and I learned a lot about marketing and product placement in the retail industry. And then I went into the banking industry after I graduated. And then I went back and wanted to study further, and I went back and got the PhD, and I got the bug to start my own consulting practice because I saw a lot of opportunities that were out here. And I felt that for some reason, David, when I was in the job market, I just didn't fit anywhere. I always felt like I thought outside of the box. I was always an independent thinker. I didn't follow the crowd. I was more of a contrarian. And that's what started me on starting my own business.
That's terrific, man. When you can lock into where you want to kind of head in your niche, or many of them, and then have the confidence to take that leap of faith, that must have been quite a moment for you.
Oh, absolutely. It was sometimes we have a calling and we don't heed the calling, and then sometimes we get forced to heeding our calling. And I got the rude awakening of my life. I got downsized from my job when I was at the bank, and I said to myself, because my second daughter was just born, I said, I'm not ever going to let somebody decide how much money I'm going to make and when I'm going to make money. I said, every entrepreneur has that epiphany in their life, and I had my moment of clarity, and that's what happened with me.
Well, the same thing exactly happened with me. I had a corporate job in marketing with a large automotive group, and they came in and fired me over a cup of coffee. That was pretty special. And
wow!
And so I talked. In fact, when we got done with the cup of coffee, I walked out and called my wife, and I said, "I think we need to pray about this." And so we did, and we decided to take a leap of faith. The last day on my job was April 30th, 2008. No, 2007. And so we took a leap of faith, and I started my own business the very next day, and I haven't looked back.
I tell you, it's everybody gets the bug. Sometimes you have compulsion entrepreneurship where you're first to be an entrepreneur, but that's a tale that I think a lot of your listeners probably can relate to. It's nothing like a man trying to take care of his family.
Right.
And all of a sudden somebody tells you that you no longer need it and we're going to go in this direction. And I think that needed to happen to me. It probably needed to happen to you because so many opportunities have happened to me since having my own business. And, when you're an employee, You're a resource.
Right.
And people don't interview you on the radio. People don't call you in to speak and you get a honorarium for speaking.
Right.
When you're an employee, you think like an employee, you act like an employee. You only do that job, then you go home, and then you go back the next day. And I don't think I've ever fit that mold. And I see a lot of similarities between us.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I'm wondering, I'm thinking there's got to be 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 100, who knows, that are listening to this and are going, damn, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this employee thing. I want to take a leap of faith and do this entrepreneur thing. And so when you help people start in small and medium businesses, how do you do that? How do you work with them?
Well, I'm a business advisor to high net worth individuals, which is lottery winners and professional athletes and other high end people. And what I do is I give them the good, the bad, the ugly. And obviously they bring me in for my expertise to give them some business advice. And I say, look,
right.
I wouldn't do that business, one, because I need to see something from the people who ask you to jump into this business. And if it's a guy's friend and a guy has no experience, to me, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, whether we want to admit this or not, we're victims of the people that we hang around, our circle.
No question about it. Yeah.
Oh, I've been a victim and you've been a victim.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes the people that we know may not be the best people to get us to the next level.
I mean, we are who we surround ourselves with.
Oh, absolutely. Having friends is like a diet. The people that you have around you is a indicator of the type of diet you have, the type of thinking that flows through you. If you're around people that are criminals, you're most likely going to be involved in criminal activities. If you're around people that are always talking about the next business deal and how to make money on this next deal and talking about buying a franchise, well, that's got to be some type of cross-pollination to you and some influence on you. So you want to always surround yourself, you at least have a mentor, and surround yourself with people that want to see you do well and people want to see you that'll push you. I mean, you don't want a yes man, but you want somebody to say, hey, you need to rethink that. You don't want to do that. You want to do this. Like I was telling one of my students, me and him went to the movies yesterday. You'll find this funny, David. I took him to the movies because I wanted him to see that movie that South called The Founder, Bob McDonald.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
You got to see that movie. Oh, and he was so into the movie. He's an entrepreneur as well. And I said, what did you learn from that? He said, I don't know, Dr. Miles. That was something else. I said, well, when you have your business, you got to protect your intellectual property. You got to also you also have to have a strategic model in mind for future expansion about what you're trying to do. You always got to have strategic planning. If you can't do it, get somebody to help you. You got
to be looking forward. Yeah, you got to be looking ahead all the time, don't you?
Absolutely, because right now, business, I think it's harder to start a business now than it ever has been in a certain aspect, because I think we're living in the age of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
The corporate rod isn't cutting it anymore, and universities are starting to pick up on this. Now, this is one of the complaints when I was a university professor. You should be teaching entrepreneurship along with marketing, finance, accounting, because all we're doing is creating employees. And one of the things I always had a problem with the colleges and universities was this. They're set up to create employees. You go get a college degree and then you go get a job when you graduate and then you're out in the workforce. I always said to myself, there's got to be something different than to do this. Maybe I don't want to be an employee,
yeah.
It's getting worse and worse and worse. There are college graduates coming out every year, and the jobs are getting less and less and less. So you got to teach people entrepreneurship. That's the only savior that I can see right now.
So if somebody, that makes all the sense in the world to me. I used to live in manage a group of radio stations years ago, and the university in town there would send over their students to have me interview them and maybe hire them as an intern or whatever. And I would sit there and look at them, and they would say, well, what's your degree? And I said, I have no degree.
Hard knocks, huh?
Yeah, I said my deal is attitude and aptitude. If you got the attitude and the aptitude, I want to hire you. I don't care about your college degree.
I like you so much. We definitely got to chat. I love what you just said, because you got to have 3 literacies in the workforce, and it doesn't mean college degree either. You got to be literate, You got to be able to know how to read. You got to be numerate. You got to know how to add, subtract, and divide. You got to be computerate. You got to be able to know how to work on a computer.
Yep.
And if you don't have those 3 literacies, you're going to it's not going to be a rosy picture for you and a great outlook for you finding a job. And we're getting students who can't write. They are so busy typing using text speak that they don't know how to write a coherent sentence.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting really bad.
I know when my grandkids are not even being taught cursive anymore.
Can you believe that? Oh
no.
Wow. I never thought I'd see that.
I never thought I'd see that day, and I'm going, seriously? Yeah, yes, Papa, we're doing this. So I love your literacies, man. That is so spot on. And
oh yeah.
And for anybody who's considering not being an employee any longer, you really have to evaluate those 3 literacies. You got to evaluate the people that you surround yourself with, and you got to be willing to take a leap of faith when the time's right, huh?
Absolutely. And everybody gets their call at a different life. And I'm like this, David. I don't judge people. You know what I say when I see somebody that's not there yet? I say they're in the stage of development.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a right to judge somebody because I don't know their story. I don't know their struggles.
Right.
That guy might be walking around raggedy. He may have a multi-million-dollar business. He doesn't want to attract attention to himself.
Yeah, that's right.
So I treat everybody the same. And if I see somebody that needs help, I mean, I don't want to like give away the store, but I try to help people. And I always have that attitude. When I see somebody that's not there yet, I always say they're in a stage of development. How dare you talk about someone because of the way they're dressed? There's a multi-million dollar entrepreneur inside of everybody.
Absolutely right. I remember years ago, I'd walk into my insurance office to check on something. I don't even remember. And there was a good old boy farmer guy, stereotypical with a bib overalls, a cowboy hat, the piece of straw hanging out of his mouth, the whole thing, you know?
Oh, wow.
And so he finished his conversation and he walked out, and I said, now that was an interesting man. She says, you have no idea. He's a multi-millionaire.
There you go. And I believe every entrepreneur should have this book called A Millionaire Next Door, because we've been fooled about people that are millionaires, and that's really a distortion of reality.
Yeah.
People that have money don't spend money buying $1,200 Armani suits. People that are millionaires try to stay being a millionaire by being frugal.
Yeah.
Okay. Millionaires don't buy brand new cars every year. They buy used cars.
Yep.
So, you know, your habits and all of those different things will lead you to being the type of entrepreneur that you want to be, and also being wealthy. And what they don't teach in school is this, because I was a university professor and I can say this. What they don't teach you is how to be self-employed and how to be self-sustaining. There's got to be more to life than just going to school and getting a degree and getting a job and then retiring.
No question.
What's wrong with that picture?
Well, and even if they do have that mindset, I mean, there is no way that you're going to stay with a company for 30 years and get a gold watch. I mean, that's
I totally
just not.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You ever heard of just-in-time inventory?
Yeah.
Where you bring in inventory, you sell it, get rid of. Well, that transferred into the workplace. Now you got just-in-time employment. You only need it when you're needed. That's why you're seeing the rise and the influx and more the emerging of temp agencies.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
They only want you they don't want you for a short period of time on a project and then send you on the way. They cut an overhead. I mean, some businesses just, they don't see why they need employees. They can run a business on a core staff of maybe 10 people. They don't need employees.
Yeah.
So they may have subcontractors. So what you have to do, and I'm telling all the kiddies out here listening to this, the key word now is multiple streams of income. Always have multiple streams of income. Having a job is like having one client. And when that client is tired of you and tired of the engagement, they will let you go. And you're going to go from 1 to 0. You don't want to go back to 0. You always want to have multiple streams of income. If you have, you have your radio show, then you got your speaking engagement arm of your business. You have your consulting part of your business. The key word now is multiple streams of income.
No question about it. I preached that I don't know how many times. In fact, I did an interview with a good friend of mine yesterday, and and we had the exact same conversation because without multiple streams of revenue, you can't make it in this world anymore. I don't care what you're doing.
You really can't. And that you remember that guy who got fired on Friday, and he's back in the grind on Monday, and they don't want to pay you what you were making,
right?
Even though no matter how many degrees you had. I mean, the college degree is so devalued now with with online education. It's made the college degree a commodity. And a guy who gets a certification may make more money than a guy getting a college degree. I mean, I never thought I would see this reversal.
Right.
Like in my situation is a little bit different. I got my PhD because I wanted to build my consulting practice.
Right.
Okay. I didn't get it just because I wanted to get a faculty job, but it would have been nice to have a faculty job. But you know what? I would have left. However, why don't I just start off at the gate and build up my business, incorporate my business, and build up my client base, and I'll make money in the president of the university.
Absolutely.
We really have a stigma in this country of called employeeism, being an employee. And when you're an employee, and I think I've heard Robert Kiyosaki say this, the God of a Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
He said, when you're an employee, you're in a constant state of fear. You're worried about losing your job because when you make a mistake, they fire you. It is so easy to get fired from a job. Like I live in Texas. They have something called at-will employment. That means they don't have to have a reason to fire you. They could fire you because they feel like it, or they're having a budget crunch in a quarter.
Yep.
So an employee is in a constant state of fear. And when you're in a constant state of fear, you don't perform well. They call that, I don't know if you heard Sean Diddy Combs say this, they call it that scared money. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a true story there, man.
Yeah. So
Wow.
We got people that are afraid, every day you're well, I heard a guy say this, you're like a duck every day waiting to get shot. You just don't know what day is coming. That's what an employee is.
You don't see the blind, and here it comes.
There you go. And normally when they fire you, they're going to fire you. They don't care if you just bought a house. They don't care if your daughter was just born. And everybody gets their wake-up call sooner or later. Either you get it in your 20s or you get it in your 40s and 50s, which a lot of people do. Like I was let go when I was 37, 38 years old from my job.
Yep.
And I looked at it as a blessing because that told me I needed to reinvent myself. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I could talk to you for hours, man, but we're just about out of time here.
Oh,
so
yeah, we got to do it again.
We got to do it again. This is like crazy fun.
Yeah, this is a motivational speech, huh?
That's it. Let's talk about your books before we leave, though. You got two books out there, Risk Factors and Business Models and Entrepreneurship and Risk.
Sure.
Which is available on Amazon, I assume.
Yeah, my book is available on Amazon.com, and my book is a wake-up call. Every entrepreneur should have my book, and my book will try to help you be successful by giving you the good, the bad, the ugly, the risks that involve starting a business and how to avoid those risks. You can reach me on my website, mdicorpventures.com. I'm on LinkedIn, and
how do you get away with murder in marketing, and the other one's forensic marketing?
Oh my God, you saw that, huh?
Oh my God, I'm sitting here going, where's the book, man? I want the book.
Yeah, we should. I will definitely see your autographed copy, David. The book should be out in April or May. We're still finishing it up.
All right, man.
And I will personally send you a hard copy with my autograph and things on it. I'm just blessed that you have me on your show today. I think that'll be a great topic the next time I come on the show and talk about how to get away with murder marketing.
Absolutely. And we will definitely do that. Thank you so much, Dr. D. Anthony Miles, our guest today on your 20-minute podcast. And be sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/your 20-minute podcast. Dr. Miles, it's been a treat, man. Have a good week.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it so much. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Until next time, don't forget to download your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. That's audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast for your free audiobook. And thanks for listening to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower.